Hi Capricorn and Capricorn Rising, this is your March 2017 forecast. So the big news in March is that Venus is going retrograde, and Venus, of course, that planet of love, affection, relationships and even money, goes retrograde every 18 months. So Venus going retrograde on the 3rd of March and stays retrograde until the 15th of April. So let's look at the general significations of Venus retrograde before we look at the particular ones for you. So when Venus goes retrograde, for everyone it can mean finishing up past business with relationships. So relationship issues really are key. So when Venus goes retrograde as well, you may find that old friends, lovers or partners from the past look you up, or you may decide to swoop in for a second look with one of these people. Venus retrograde is also a very good time to renegotiate the terms of financial agreements such as loans and those kinds of contracts. And Venus can also, when it's retrograde, favor good bargains. So where you know the real value of something, but the seller doesn't. Just be careful with lavish purchases because Venus isn't always thinking practically. And for you, Venus is going to be going retrograde in your 4th house. So let's look at what that means for Capricorn. So Venus in the 4th house, you may be wanting more peaceful, quiet time at home, connecting with close family members or parents. With Venus in the 4th, it may be a time for redecorating and remodeling. Just be aware that your aesthetic sensibilities may go through some changes by the time that Venus goes direct, so perhaps nothing too radical. But generally speaking, this really does favor closeness with family members, resolving any conflict with family members. Venus here is striving for peace and harmony within the family and within the home. So this is also your innermost personal life, and as such, you may find yourself more introspective and withdrawn at this time, perhaps wanting more time at home alone, or perhaps entertaining from home. With regards to diet, when Venus retrogrades in the 4th, you'll want to pay attention to moderation, as you may be overloading your digestive tract. So let's look at the other influences this month. Until the 20th of March, the Sun will be in your 3rd house. And this increases interactions with people that you deal with daily, friends, neighbors, relatives and business associates. So one of the goals of this period should be clear communication. So it's not just about speaking, although you'll certainly be initiating many conversations, but listening as well. So the tempo really does pick up, particularly as Mercury will be in the 3rd house until the 14th as well. So this stimulates a lot of conversations, there's a lot of restlessness, activity. Mercury here very articulate, so you're able to sell yourself and your ideas, articulating them well, initiating lots of conversations. There may be a lot of short trips, a lot of activity generally speaking. So this can be quite a busy period. Your mind is really fired up, you're looking for intellectual stimulation. You can really be promoting yourself and your ideas with some gusto. But also this is a good time to gather information, do your research, and then by the time that the Sun and Mercury go into your 4th house and things settle down a bit in terms of the tempo, you can assimilate all of those ideas, make sense of them, and make judgments then, when things are a little bit quieter. So from the 20th, this is the quiet period. The Sun is moving into your 4th house, and this is the house of family, home, and property concerns. It's also your innermost personal life. So here, after the busy flurry of activity with Mercury and Sun, in your 3rd house, the tempo goes down a notch. You want to settle, get rooted and secure. It can be a time of nesting. So here you really want to make sure you've got a solid base of operations. So this can also favor buying and selling, particularly with Mercury here, and property renovations. So property concerns and concerns with making the home more comfortable, generally speaking, for that solid base of operations can come up at this time. With Mercury here, it's going to be very good for discussions with family members, so communicating what's close to your heart and mind. So resolving family discussions or any kind of conflicts that have come up will be very favored with both the Sun and Mercury in your 4th house. You may also find yourself reminiscing a lot about the past. With Mercury in the 4th house, you're nostalgic for the past, thinking about the past. So that can be coming up a lot for you at this time. So it's a good time to make sense of childhood patterns and behaviors and see how these are influencing you now. So until the 10th of March, Mars will still be in Aries and in your 4th house, where Mars is very strong. So Mars in the 4th can make for some inappropriate and strong displays of feeling. So Mars in the fourth, wanting to make things comfortable in the home, so a lot of physical energy being channeled here. So you're able to accomplish a lot around the home. But Mars is always that planet of ego, can be a little bit combative. So this can be with regards to family members or people that you share your home with. So try and channel that energy into productivity around the home, generally speaking, and take other people's needs into account. So from the 10th onwards, Mars moves into the 5th house. And Mars in the 5th, this is that planet, this is that house of romance, sports, and leisure. So Mars is channeling its energies into these avenues. So it's very good for personal business, for promoting personal business. Mars very energetic here. So there's a lot of high physical energy, and this favors romance, although definitely the more physical side of romance, generally speaking. And so here there's a lot of energy to get things done. There can be a lot of activity with children. The only problem can be with regards to discipline, because you won't feel very much like doing things that you're not really passionate and inspired about. But still very creative energy, and one that's going to be good for personal business, and potentially for some of you, some speculative risk-taking. So let's look at the other aspects this month. On the 1st of March, we've got the Sun conjuncting Neptune in your third house. And this can stimulate a real interest in spiritual, even occult subjects. Generally speaking, it heightens sensitivity and connection with other people. And for you, this could be around relatives, neighbors, or people that you deal with daily. If with this very busy period with Mercury and the Sun in your third house, this could mean you want to withdraw, take a bit of time out to meditate and contemplate at this time. The Sun and Neptune together can sometimes show a bit of a drain of physical energies, so meditation and contemplation could be the watchwords for the day. On the 2nd, Jupiter opposes Uranus from your 10th to your 4th house, and this of course is strong angular placement and aspect of 2017. So Jupiter and Uranus in opposition can show a desire for release from restrictions, obligations, and for you this is going to be around professional and family duties and obligations. Sometimes when this aspect goes exact, events can conspire in such a way that we're released from some of these restrictions, obligations, and so perhaps, you'll see that something come up in this sense that gives you a bit more freedom or lease in those areas of your life. On the 4th, Mercury conjuncts Neptune in your 3rd house, and much like the Sun and Neptune, Mercury and Neptune together encourages creative thinking, self-expression, it's imaginative, it's perceptive. On the other hand, in the 3rd house, as it relates to business, this won't be a good time to commit to sales contracts, agreements, and that sort of thing, because Mercury and Neptune can sometimes signify being misled. So just be aware of that influence and wait until, your mind is clearer on certain subjects. On the 5th, we've got Mars trining Saturn from your 4th to your 12th house. And Mars and Saturn here can show persevering through hard times, particularly with Saturn in the 12th. So if there are difficult or challenging situations in your life, this can give you the wherewithal to persevere and push through. This is also very good for hard work, and for you this could be routine paperwork, things that need to be attended to. Things don't have to be too glamorous or interesting. This one will give you the focus and concentration to push through. On the 6th, we've got the Sun conjuncting Mercury in your 3rd house, and this is very good for starting up business ventures, also for initiating business ventures, having conversations, like I said, taking the initiative. This can also be very good for getting routine paperwork out of the way with this happening in your 3rd house. So there can be a lot of exchange and interchange of ideas and plans with regards to business, trade, and hustle. So on the 8th, Mercury and the Sun are both sextiling Pluto from your 3rd to your 1st house. So this can be really good for problem solving or reorganizing things. And for you, this can relate to daily routine and duties and obligations, so sorting through, doing thorough work. It can also be very good for research study. So if you're researching a subject, this will help you get to the bottom of it. It's very truth-seeking and very good with solving puzzles and mysteries. So the full moon is on the 12th of March in Virgo in your 9th house. And the full moon in the 9th, this can have been 2 weeks leading up to this full moon of routine paperwork. Perhaps things have been a bit dull, even though you've been very busy. you can find your ideas and faith kind of being challenged and tested at this time. So after dealing with all those mundane affairs, you're looking for stimulation, you're looking for excitement. So try and do something that gives your life a bit more significance and meaning. That's really what this aspect is trying to bring through, or the full moon energies. On the 18th, we've got Mercury conjuncting Venus in your 4th house. And Mercury and Venus together, very good for financial and business dealings. Venus, of course, retrograde. So this could have to do with property and home concerns. Venus and Mercury together, also very good for expressing feelings of love, so declarations of love. You're able to articulate your feelings with great sensitivity. On the 23rd, we've got Mercury squaring Pluto from your 4th to your 1st house. And this can show a bit of obsessive thinking, a bit of preoccupation. Perhaps you're being a bit too forceful with your point of view. This can be with family members or around matters concerning the home. But this is also a good aspect for research and study and investigations. So if you need to focus on a subject like that, then this can be a good influence for that. So on the 24th, Mercury opposes Jupiter from your 4th to your 10th houses. And this can be good for negotiations and business dealings, generally speaking. Mercury and Jupiter, even in opposition, do give you a sense of the big picture, the sum of all the parts. On the other hand, it can be a little bit sloppy with details. So although this can be good for business negotiations and professional concerns or issues related to property or the home, just make sure that you're working thoroughly and conscientiously. So with a bit of effort, you can work with greater accuracy. And this can be a very favorable aspect. So on the 25th, we've got the Sun conjuncting a retrograde Venus. So the Sun and Venus together, this can give you moments of relationship clarity. So if you've been pondering relationship issues, this can give you a kind of aha moment or clarity or insight. It's also very good for creative self-expression in terms of relationships. And this aspect can also draw in new or old love interests. So see how it works out for you. On the 28th, we've got a jam-packed new moon in Aries in your 4th house. And this is going to be all about home, family, and property concerns. We've got the Sun and the Moon, Venus, Mercury, and Uranus all in Aries. So quite a jam-packed moon. So lots of energy around home, family, property concerns. So energy, active energy over the next 2 weeks to tackle problems in this regard. For some of you, this may be around remodeling or renovation. And you may be thinking of future plans in terms of your home base or even professional concerns. So the month concludes with Jupiter squaring Pluto from your 10th to your 1st house, and a very angular aspect for you, which can show ambition, striving for power, where you want to make a difference. You're looking for recognition and success. This can sometimes show conflict with those in power, but generally speaking, very good for projects to reform or rebuild. And for you, this could be around the home or even just around your personal identity and presence in the world. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this forecast, please like and subscribe, and thanks so much for listening.